What's happening, Blue Jays fans, and welcome to another edition of Jays Latest. I am your host, Craig Borden, and we're going to talk all things Toronto Blue Jays baseball. So let's talk first things first. Happy Father's Day to all of you. We'll see the blue bats out there, and we're going to have some fun, obviously. Blue Jays get to play at 1 o'clock, and we're going to, hopefully enjoy it. So let's talk about the not so enjoyable right off the bat here. The Blue Jays need to find some help, and we're just starting to see the pitching obviously deteriorate. We're going to see some things like that as we continue this conversation. But first things first, I wanted to talk out some things that I thought that actually might be possibly achievable at the Blue Jays trade deadline. The Colorado Rockies and the Washington Nationals are obviously having not seasons that they would hope for, but I would say the Washington Nationals are definitely in that ballpark where at least they're feeling like they're making progress. Where, as many of you know, the Colorado Rockies are having a horrific season. Jake Bird being one of those exceptions. He's been having a great season, looking really good out of the bullpen. On the other side of that coin is somebody like Kyle Finnegan, who has been an amazing good closer for the Washington Nationals, and one of those things is going to go to the point where one of those guys is going to get a chance at the trade deadline to go somewhere else. Those trade deadline assets of the two of them are just too great to be able to be not traded for those teams at the end of the day, because right now the two of them could get something substantially back. Jake Bird having an excellent season with a 1.8 WAR, 39 innings with a 1.1 WHIP and a 2.6 ERA. He has been nothing short of phenomenal and really figured something out in the bullpen for the Colorado Rockies at the age of 29. He it's just been very interesting. I think he's going to be one of those guys, obviously not getting the save opportunities, but he's been 29 games. It's very interesting to see what he could do on a team like the Blue Jays, for example, that could actually give him run support and a chance to actually come up with a win at the end of a ball game. And we're going to talk about the reason why I think this is needed here in a few moments. But they need one other giant good arm in that bullpen. I know Jimmy Garcia is going to be back at some point, but we're putting the onus on a lot of people that are having some, how should I put this, out of their issue a little bit, out of their depth. Um, Having one other guy that would be solid, like Kyle Finnegan or Jake Bird, for example, here. If they're able to replicate that success in a Blue Jay uniform, it pushes everybody in the slot where they need to be in that Blue Jay bullpen. It will be very, very intriguing to see what they would do with lockdown bullpen with this kind of thing, especially with how overworked everybody has been on certain days. Having another couple of good, big, hefty arms that could come out and do that would be great. And Finnegan and Bird have been locked down over the last two seasons. I would say their trade value is unfortunately at an all-time high for the two of them, but it would be vastly improving for the Blue Jays and for a funding that would be not as horrible as some of the other ones that we've discussed on this show. Finnegan obviously has 18 saves. He would probably be the more expensive of the two, but if you were able to grab him and Bird or one of the other, the ages that they're at shouldn't cost you a fortune or the King's ransom to be able to do that, and it'd be a vast improvement, especially for a team like the Blue Jays right now that we're hoping to be that playoff team that we were, not discussing a few weeks ago. But I think the more right is on the good side of that whole thing right now is we're only going to get better as some of these guys come back from injury. Mad Max apparently is recovering really well, by the way, from his outing in Buffalo. So first day after, starting to look pretty good. So he's actually going to continue ramping up toward his second start, in which he's hoping to get 80 pitches in for the Buffalo Bisons, and that'd probably be in the ballpark of Wednesday because they always have the Monday off for the wonderful things going on in the International League here in Buffalo. So good deal. So let's talk about yesterday afternoon, everybody. The Blue Jays unfortunately lost a close one. And if you want to point to the exact downfall of this game, the Blue Jays actually really only allowed, in my opinion, one earned run. Bowden Francis started off this game hot, was looking really, really good in the first three innings. The Blue Jays had the lead on a Miles Straw double, and things were just clicking in the right direction. It looked like we were going to have everything working with Bowden, and then all of a sudden the hamster fell off the wheel. In the course of five pitchers, he went from being able to pinpoint his accuracy to not being able to get the ball on the plate. Um, Plunked a couple of batters, walked a couple of guys, walked in a pair of runs, which made it 2-2. Um, it just went off the rails really, really, really quickly for Bowden Francis. I was really starting to feel good at the beginning of this game because I was like, oh, there's the Bowden Francis that we fell in love with at the end of last season and the guy that we knew that he can be. And then all of a sudden, I don't know what the glitch was, but it literally was like he glitched. He couldn't get the ball over the plate. Um, I can't say enough things, but at this point, what gets him right? What gets him to the way he looked in those first 3 innings versus the guy that we saw in the fourth that lost this everything? I don't know if it's to send him down to the minors, which is, I think, realistically where he should be for a moment, get his head right, not have the pressure of doing that at the major league level. It's got to be in his head at this point. He knows what he can do. Um, the only thing I can think of that would allow him to fix this at the major league level is that he was attached to Max Scherzer's hip. And Max is down on those rehab assignments, as I mentioned, and he's been down, getting better to begin with and all these wonderful things. Earlier in the season, when he had Mad Max's ear, he was doing very well. And then he got hurt. And then you saw things happen. Maybe you know, Bowden keep calm whisper is actually Mad Max himself. So maybe give him one more start here, but you got to be ready for treat that day like a bullpen day where Eric Lawler or Spencer Turnbull or somebody are ready there to run out innings. Otherwise, you need to do the flip flop of that. Let one of those guys take the start and let Bowden Francis be the guy out of the bullpen, which could mess with his head just even more. So that's why I'm saying I think you do the first of those, not the latter. But something has to change to rattle shake things up a little bit here for Bowden Francis and keep things moving in the right direction. So, but outside of that, the Toronto Blue Jays, like I said, got out to an early lead. Everything went off the wheels in the fourth inning for the Blue Jays for the Phillies taking out Vlad Jr. I got it. In most ballparks, this is probably a home run. Just hit to the cavernous part of the Citizens Bank ballpark in dead left center field. Hits his 13th double, drives in a run. Bo Bichette scores, puts the Blue Jays 2-2, obviously, at that point. But then things just continued happening after that. Oh, excuse me. And as things go, it was Max Kepler. That's what I was looking for. The former Twin hits his 8th home run of the season for the Philadelphia Phillies off of Chad Green. I don't know how many people have looked into this deeply or anything, but Chad Green is having a rough spot, and it's only rough because he keeps getting tagged for home runs. Outside of those few home run balls, he's been pitching really damn well, but his ERA has climbed a lot over the last few weeks just from, like I said, the lawn ball. And it's very scary to a point for me because at the end of the day, he was so locked in. He's went from having a low 2s batting average against him to around almost a 375 over the last few games. So it's one of those things that maybe and this is why I was saying another arm in our bullpen might not hurt because you do need something to be able to counteract that whole thing. And Chad Green has been a solid pitcher for us. So back to the Bowden Francis thing, I just want to mention one thing that John Schneider was asked bluntly, and they more or less are still following he's been working his ass off. We need him up here to be able to work through it. And that's apparently the mantra that the Blue Jays are currently going to fall through. I will say that also just sounds like manager speak that I don't have any other options. So there is that until you get Max Scherzer back here in a few weeks. Adam Mako also for the Buffalo Bisons is back, so maybe there's something there to maybe able to get him going and get him back up to the majors because he was ready to go at the end of last season and he got hurt. So, anyways, we're back to the Chad Green. He gives up the third run. Blue Jays lose. I hope there is something that Chad is just tipping his pitch, leaving it too high, not locating properly, whatever it might be. Chad Green is a very key, important part of this bullpen, and him having a 4.6 ERA because of long balls over the last few weeks is not helping. So hopefully we figure something out on that avenue because watching Max Kepler hit that home run yesterday felt like a shot in the heart. So, anyways, today hopefully we get the stopper back because we're gonna get Jose Barrios is gonna be on the hill against Zach freaking Wheeler. So got a pitting against each other of aces. Zach Wheeler has a sub 1 point or a sub 1 whip with a .9. So walks hits per innings. He has been just unhittable at this point through 82 innings, 101 strikeouts. One of the unsung best pitchers in Major League Baseball over the past few years, which says a lot, I think, because he's been doing it really good in a big baseball city like Philadelphia. So what is going I don't get it. Come on. So Zach Wheeler over his last few starts has been just wrecking everybody as per usual. Um, he's only allowed. Oh shoot, I forgot about the game against the Atlanta Braves where he allowed 6. But before that, he actually had allowed no runs through basically 18 innings. Then he allowed just 1 against the Chicago White Sox his last outing. We did not have to see him during our last trip and neither did the Phillies ever see Jose Barrios during that last stint as well. Speaking of doing really well and just running through hitters, Jose Barrios has been untouchable just as much lately. Through his last 3 outings, he's only allowed 1 earned run. Not as many strikeouts as usual, but is pitching and locating very, very well and doing his job, obviously. Barrios is putting together quietly a very, very, very good season with a 2-2 record with a 3.38 ERA through 14 starts. Just north of 1 for that whip thing I was mentioning a moment ago. But his age 31 season is still looking like Jose Barrios is a ace, all things. So looking through the lineup card today on who has faced Zach Wheeler before. The only one that has a decent amount of significant at bats against him is Bo Bichette, Vlad Jr., and Andres Jimenez. And let's just say things are not so good except for Bo Bichette. So Bo Bichette has an RBI, but he has batting 375 and 8 hits or 8 at bats. So Vladdy has touched him up for a home run, and Tyler Heineman has hit a home run with him. But we're probably going to get Kirky behind the dish today. So tis what it is. On the flip side of this thing, once again, I don't know what it is about Nick Castellanos, but he has had high batting average against all of our best pitchers. He is in 23 at bats against Jose Barrios. His batting 391. That's 23 at bats, 8 RBIs, and 2 home runs. So watch out for Nick Castellanos today in the Philly lineup against Jose Barrios. So all things good. We're hopefully we'll win. Hopefully, we'll just do the mirror of what we did to the Phillies, or the Phillies did to us in Toronto a few weeks ago. We'll come out with our win here just to make sure we save face. Unfortunately, the winning streak for how many series in a row we're going to win is lost at this point. We had 5 in a row. It was a good run. Cheers, boys. Make sure you keep it up on the next one, and we'll go from there. Obviously, catch us wherever you can on social media and everything here with Jay's Latest. We will be here to talk all things Toronto Blue Jays baseball, rumors, and all the other fun. For the regular show, make sure you check out jaybirdwatching.com. That is my other podcast with my friends Liz McGuire and Jason Lyons. This week, we actually have Vancouver Canadian Nick Goodwin, who is the reigning player of the week from not the week we're currently in, but last week. So awesome stuff, cool things. We will talk to Nick Goodwin and have a great time. And make sure you check us out here every day on Jay's Latest. Take care. Cheers.